Good evening, fellow humans. December 26, 2025. Hope you had a Merry Christmas and a very Maha holiday. Let's see how we're breaking free from this slave planet tonight. On deck for topics: silver, precious metals. Holy crap. Prices looking like crypto charts. Freaking insane. We're going to talk about silver and discuss why precious metals are in such demand, and also link that to emerging energy technologies. You've got a big push right now by governments and corporations into nuclear, not just small modular nuclear reactors, fission reactors, but also into nuclear fusion. And silver plays a huge part in that. Plus, you've got a push into solar. A lot of companies and governments pushing into solar. And I'm not talking about solar panels on the ground. We're talking solar panels in space. Not only data centers in space, but solar panels in space. And those solar panels, not just powering those data centers, but those solar panels beaming electricity down to the ground on our planet. Space-based solar power. And silver also plays a huge role in photovoltaic solar cells. Now, these are very emerging technologies, fusion and space-based solar power. And I think some of these companies, among other reasons, are stocking solar because they know in the coming decade or two, nuclear tech and space-based solar power are going to be big. So we'll get into that. We'll talk some on the fraud coming out, the Somalian fraud and fraud coming out of California. Nick Shirley, I think is his name, citizen journalist. Dude goes around and street records himself, but he released a video today of himself in Minnesota walking to the daycare centers and like knocking on their doors and asking if he could put his son in their daycare centers. And then they freaked out because these are daycare centers where they don't even have any children there. They just set up daycare shops to conduct a bunch of fraud with. So awesome citizen journalism that he did. We'll play some clips of that. 2020 election on deck. Over the past 24 to 48 hours, basically Trump spent Christmas just shit posting about 2020 election fraud. That's all he's done, pretty much. Couple of posts on Epstein today that we'll take a look at as well from his True Social account, but he basically spent all Christmas just shit posting on 2020 election fraud, and I think for very specific reason is because over the next, I give it 3 weeks, first month of 2026, January, I expect a shitload to start coming out about 2020 election fraud from Tulsi Gabbard, DNI, Department of National Intelligence, and hopefully we get some movement by Kash Patel and Pam Bondi on that. We'll see. And then we will also discuss how Stranger Things just went full gay.
Why are you gay?
Full gay. Stranger Things, Netflix series, 5th season has been premiering over the past couple of weeks. The last season, I think the first 3 episodes came out around Thanksgiving, if I'm getting that right. And the latest episode came out yesterday, Christmas. So strategic release. A lot of people are going to be home. Let's put it on Christmas so everybody can binge watch it. And this 5th episode of the 5th season, one of the main characters just went full homo. Like they had a whole section of the main character coming out, and then all the other main characters were around him like, oh God, it's okay. We love you. We all love each other. I don't like girls. It was just, oh my God. How to destroy a franchise series on a major streaming platform in T-minus like 60 seconds. Same thing with The Last of Us. I don't know if you guys saw The Last of Us series on, I forget what streaming service, but it was the one with Pedro Pascal and zombie apocalypse type series. I loved the first season. I kind of dig the apocalypse style shows. So I liked the first season. And then first episode of the second season, main character comes out as a lesbo. And I know that's keeping to video game lore, but still, like making a big scene of it. Why even put it in the video game? It's just stupid. But we'll touch Stranger Things. But we're going to connect how Netflix ties into this media fight going on, because there's a big corporate battle going on over who's going to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. And Netflix is one of the parties that's trying to buy Warner Brothers, which would lead them to control CNN and a lot of other big media and entertainment enterprises. So it's quite important as to who is going to get control of Warner Brothers. Netflix is one of the parties, and the other party is Larry Ellison and his son David Ellison. So Larry Ellison, CEO of Oracle, big multi-super billionaire, and his son owns Paramount Skydance. And they bought out Paramount not too long ago, and that was huge controversy because that essentially got him controlling CBS, and now we're seeing some changes as to CBS that's causing the establishment to be pissed off. More Trump-friendly changes. So Netflix versus Ellison's as to who buys Warner Brothers. If Netflix gets the nod and buys Warner Brothers, then CNN is probably going to have all their, bunch of gay news anchors, and everybody's going to be black. If David and Larry Ellison get control of CNN, it could become a more Trump-friendly platform, and the whole staff would probably quit and be replaced, which is that such a bad thing? So we'll see what happens. All right. That is the beginning. Let me check the chat, say hi to you guys, and then we'll get into discussion. Sup, Jim from New Zealand. South Island of New Zealand is one of my bucket list places for sure. I'd like to go to that country. And YouTube chat getting in on the silver talk. Silver was the play. Yeah. Even up to like a couple months ago. Prices of silver just going insane. The way it's going, silver would hit a C note by the end of the year. No, I mean, trading is closed for the next 2 days for the weekend. With the way it's going, $80 for sure. 100 next year though. In 2026? Oh, yeah. To be fair about Stranger Things, the coming out scene was not the predominant thing about the show, which is nice, but was it necessary? And they did make like a big deal about that scene. I don't know. Paramount Plus should be the one to get Warner Brothers. Paramount is a way older company. Yeah, and the deal that they offered, I believe, was all cash. So Paramount Skydance's offer, if we're talking for shareholders, because shareholders, I don't know if it's required by law, but they need to pick the better deal, the objectively better deal. And if Paramount Skydance, the Ellisons are putting up all cash versus Netflix, I don't know the details about Netflix's offer, but yeah, there's a fight going on over who gets control of Warner Brothers. Chat says, I told my people to invest in gold and silver 3 years ago, then sit on it. Hey man, in my OG YouTube days, I was doing interviews about gold and silver every couple of months. That's back in 2018, 2019. And when were the prices then? 4 years ago, I was told that silver was going to go up into the thousands of dollars. Yeah, I mean, let's be realistic. That would take a shitload of time. It depends on your time frame, but thousands? I don't know. Maybe? I don't know. Chat says Chinese have tons of silver. A lot of countries have been pushing towards silver, and a lot of countries have also been removing the ability to take precious metals like silver out of their country, which is another reason why prices are going up. So anyway, all right, let's get into it. Starting off with the sponsor of today's show, that is My Digital Money. With the way inflation and currency devaluation are going, smart investors are turning to Bitcoin, not as a gamble, but as a global hedge backed by major funds, banks, and even governments. After reaching an all-time high of 124,000 in October, Bitcoin's pulled back, and many see this as a good opportunity to invest before the next uptrend. When you invest with My Digital Money, you'll get US-based support and secure offline storage, so your crypto stays protected. You can even open a crypto IRA or roll over your existing 401k to enjoy valuable tax benefits. And speaking of metals, My Digital Money can also help you invest in gold, silver, or platinum. Same thing, easily transfer an existing IRA or 401k, buy amounts as little as $10, low transaction fees, and you can take physical possession of your metals as well. They can help you with that. So it's not just crypto, which crypto might go down a little bit before it goes back up, but obviously precious metals are hitting all-time highs. Some of them, My Digital Money can help you invest in both of those. Go to jordansathercrypto.com. There you can download a free crypto investment guide and figure out how to contact them via email and or phone number. Give them a call, probably the easiest way. So link will be in the description or pinned comment below. All right. Did you guys endure this over your holiday? It do be like that, though. It do be like that. Me watching my family cook with seed oils and enriched flour on nonstick pans while putting aluminum foil on everything. My favorite is green bean casserole. All right? Green bean casserole to white people is like fried chicken to black people. And it hurts my heart, man. I go over to the family's house. I see the Campbell's soup cans getting cracked open to make the green bean casserole with. And I just know that I'm getting a MSG headache after smashing a plate of green bean casserole. Ugh. But I made my own green bean casserole yesterday, and I used the good ingredients. And I ate the whole freaking Pyrex glass container, whatever I cooked it in. It was amazing. So, anyway. We'll get to silver in a sec, but I want to touch on Trump's posts first. So, we will discuss all of his shit posts on 2020 election fraud in a moment, but I first want to highlight his Epstein posts. This one yesterday on Christmas, he said, "Merry Christmas to all, including the many sleaze bags who loved Jeffrey Epstein, gave him bundles of money, went to his island, attended his parties, and thought he was the greatest guy on earth, only to drop him like a dog. When things got too hot, falsely claimed they had nothing to do with him. Falsely. Didn't know him, said he was a disgusting person, and then blame, of course, Trump, who was actually the only one who did drop Epstein long before it was fashionable to do so. When their names get brought out in the ongoing radical left witch hunt, plus one lowlife Republican Massey, it is revealed that they are Democrats all, and there will be a lot of explaining to do, much like there was when it was made public that the Russia hoax was a fictitious story, a total scam, and had nothing to do with Trump. The failing New York Times, among many others, was forced to apologize for their bad and faulty election reporting. More election stuff coming up in his posts, even to the point of losing many subscribers due to their highly inaccurate fake coverage. Now the same losers are at it again, only this time so many of their friends, mostly innocent, will be badly hurt and reputationally tarnished. But sadly, that's the way it is in the world of corrupt Democrat politics. Enjoy what may be your last Merry Christmas, DJT. That one's a doozy right there. Enjoy what may be your last Merry Christmas. Is that because we are going to see this issue start to see justice in 2026, and this issue start to see justice in 2026? Remember, we've got the whole America 250th anniversary celebration birthday party dealio next year, mid-year. Celebrations around July, of course, but June, July, August, summertime. I venture to guess, and I think it is reasonable to assume, that strategies are in play to start bringing us justice by those celebrations, by particularly July 4th of 2026. And then that would, of course, be not too long before midterms, so big wins before midterms. And when I say justice, I mean not everybody arrested, but arrests beginning of players in election fraud. We could be speaking of people in Fulton County, Georgia, or surrounding areas, also Pennsylvania, some of these states, Colorado, even. You got the Tina Peters saga going on there. Jenna Griswold, be nice to get her behind bars. But whether that be names related to 2020 fake election or Russia, right? Brennan, Clapper, some of those folks. Yeah. Maybe I'm smoking the hopium, but I don't think I am. I do think we'll see some headway made there by then. But also one more post on Epstein. Now, 1 million more pages on Epstein are found. Yeah. The DOJ found 1 million more pages all of a sudden and put them out over Christmas. Here's a nice present, they said. Ooh, 1 million freaking pages. Wow. The DOJ is being forced to spend all of its time on a Democrat-expired hoax. When do they say no more and work on election fraud, etc.? Elections again. The Dems are the ones who worked with Epstein, not the Republicans. Release all of their names, embarrass them, and get back to helping our country. The radical left doesn't want people talking about Trump and Republican success. Only a long ago dead Epstein. Just another witch hunt. Yeah, people, I don't know. People get upset by the way Trump's playing this, calling it a Democrat hoax. And on one hand, he's kind of right. You've got a lot of socialist and communist NGOs that are funded by Soros pushing this Epstein justice release the files thing. A lot of the release the files narrative pushing is coming from NGOs and politically corrupt organizations. So there's one thing. But on the other hand, if Trump was trying to cover up the Epstein network, Epstein never would have been arrested in the first place. People kept forgetting about that. If Trump really wanted that to be covered up, Epstein, he never would have been arrested 5-6 years ago. So the other thing this does, by Trump calling it a hoax, is what does that do? Streisand effect. Gets more people talking about it, more eyeballs on it. So by running with this narrative, Trump does two things, and they are both equally valid and equally reasonable. And that is, 1, exposes the hoax, and 2, gets people talking about it. More talk. Both good things. And more exposure, too, so. It's hilarious. I don't know. People are triggered by his angle he's taking, but it is what it is. Now, let's get to all of Trump's Truth Social shit posting. I'm just going to scroll through his timeline to show you everything. Videos on Act Blue and all the Act Blue fraud. And then posts about Democrat major money laundering outlet Act Blue. How much fraud Act Blue was being used for. $16 billion since 2004. Act Blue is the Democrats' major money platform, which raised $16 billion since 2004. A lot of that money probably Soros money laundering. Let's see. More fraud in Colorado. Oh, that's... I'm just highlighting the election fraud posts. Ooh, Trump posted a video of Roseanne Barr. Roseanne Barr just said COVID only came to the U.S. so Democrats could use mail-in ballots to steal the 2020 election. Yes. When it comes to COVID, there were many agendas wrapped in one with COVID. One, of course, push the vaccines, redistribute wealth, censorship, clamp down with a bunch of, launder money, of course. Bunch of COVID money was laundered and shit. So, deep state conducts a grand giant psyop. There's always multiple agendas wrapped within it. Another one, probably their main one, was steal the election. Use the excuse of we need to push mass mail-in ballots because it's too dangerous to go into the voting booths. People need to social distance, so mass mail-in ballots everywhere. COVID also helped Joe Biden because the excuse of, we need to social distance, so nobody go to Joe Biden's rallies, which nobody was going to anyway, right? Couldn't even fill a high school gymnasium with supporters for Joe Biden. But convenient cover by, nobody's going because they're scared of the COVID. We have to shut down the rallies, shut down all this stuff. COVID was a great op to use to push mail-in ballots and steal 2020. Abolish mail-in ballots or it'll happen again. Georgia senator reacts to 2020 Fulton County election news. Fulton County certified a contested election, and it only took them 5 years to admit it. They evacuated a polling center, claimed there was a water main break, started pulling suitcases out from under tables, and started stuffing ballots into machines. I think he even posted a video of that exact thing happening. Georgia senator reacts to hearing with Fulton County DA Fannie Willis. I've been calling out the 2020 election from the beginning. Me too. While the political establishment looked the other way, I fought to force a special election in the Georgia Senate to review voter fraud in our state. There's a couple posts on Russiagate. Russia hoax was a lie. Pam Bondi, you have the evidence from DNI Gabbard regarding the 2020 election. People demand accountability. Here's a couple videos on Dominion voting machines. Election was stolen. Trump was correct. There's that video of them stuffing ballots in Georgia. Ruby Freeman was the one that was caught pulling like a little device out and plugging it in. Yeah, dude, like his whole timeline yesterday is just shit posting. Fulton County election official testified under oath that she saw 100% of military absentee ballots go to Joe Biden in 2020. Fulton has now admitted hundreds of thousands of ballots were illegally counted. And in 2020, Trump only lost Georgia by 10, 20,000, like a few 10,000 votes. So hundreds of thousands of ballots illegally counted in a state he only lost by 10 or 20,000. Proof Michigan elections are rigged. This is wild. So anyway, that's a snapshot of all the wonderful shit posting that we got. Okay, let's get into silver. I just want to show you this glorious, glorious chart. That is not Bitcoin. Well, that's what Bitcoin looked like 4 years ago, 5 years ago. That is silver today. Up 10% today. That is the daily chart on silver. There's some lines I drew about a month ago when it was putting in this nice little ascending triangle there, and then it just smashed through it. Look at the weekly chart. Silver's up 17% this week. Nice. Like that's insane. Smashed through its all-time high. This is the weekly chart on gold. Boom. Gold too. I drew this little circle like a month ago. And it's already about to smash my target right there. That's silver. This is palladium. Palladium smashing an all-time high, up 20% this week. This is platinum, excuse me. That one's platinum. This one's palladium. Palladium's all-time high was a few years ago, but it is going up, 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 up. Metals going crazy. Wow. Wild, dude. When's it gonna end? When will it end? Now, let's talk about why. So, first, this is just funny. Zero hedge. When government inefficiency is profitable, platinum selling below spot on the U.S. Mint website right now. On the U.S. Mint website, government website, they were selling platinum coins for $2,345 for 1 ounce. 1 ounce platinum coins for $23.45. And today, the price of platinum shot up freaking 9% in a day. Ended the day at $24.46. So, on the U.S. Mint's website, they were selling the metal for 5% cheaper than what the price was actually at. So people found that out, and they went, and a bunch of people sold out. The U.S. Mint website sold out. To those who managed to get it 4% below spot, congrats. That's like them selling $1 for 95 cents. So you rush to the U.S. government website and buy dollars for 95 cents. When government inefficiency makes you money. Glorious. Let's talk about why silver's going crazy. We'll get to the discussion on fusion in a moment, nuclear and solar. But let's discuss geopolitical happenings. So number one, China is changing their rules. Starting January 1st, China is restricting silver exports. To export silver, companies in China will now need government licenses. And only large state-approved firms qualify with at least 80 tons of annual production or around $30 million in credit lines. So small and mid-size exporters are effectively banned from exporting silver in China. China controls roughly 2/3 of the global silver supply. When China tightens exports, global supply drops immediately. This is the same tactic China used with rare earth metals. So this is bad news, actually. And the silver market was already in short supply. Silver has been in a structural deficit for 5 straight years. That means demand is higher than supply every single year. Mining supply is not growing. Physical silver inventories are collapsing. London vaults are down. Shanghai inventories are down. COMEX inventories are down. Industrial demand keeps rising. This is what we'll get into in a moment. Silver is not just a safe haven metal. It is critical for solar panels, electric vehicles, electronics, and medical devices. Industrial use now makes up over half of total silver demand. Okay, let's get into discussing critical. This year, for the first time ever, the United States government added silver to its U.S. critical minerals list. Basically, national security implications here. So not just rare earth minerals like uranium, but silver has been added to the government's official list of critical minerals for national defense, infrastructure, etc. Critical minerals list. That's big. That's very, very big. And the reason why is because energy, primarily. So here is one potential technology that if it takes off, maybe. You know, I saw that comment in the chat earlier saying silver in the thousands of dollars. Nuclear is going to take off. If this battery takes off, you'll see silver in the multiple hundreds for sure, I do believe. NFA, not financial advice. I'm just a retard talking into this microphone, tapping on my keyboard. Don't listen to me. I'm an idiot. But I do think give it, long enough time frame, few years, you could see silver in the hundreds, thousands. I don't know. Sure, eventually, depending on the time frame, right? Few decades. But this is Samsung's solid-state battery. Samsung's solid-state battery could be silver's next big demand engine. Earlier this year, Samsung announced a solid-state battery that is just far superior than these lithium-ion batteries that electric vehicles use now. So this solid-state battery essentially would make electric vehicles... Where's the specs here on this one? Give me a sec. Anyway, the specs on this vehicle, it can get an 80% charge in 20 minutes and has a 600-mile range, if I remember correctly. Whereas lithium-ion electric vehicles, which Tesla's, most all electric vehicles use lithium-ion heavy-ass batteries right now, you'd be lucky to get 400 miles of range, and it takes hours unless you get to one of those superchargers. These solid-state Samsung batteries almost double the range of an electric vehicle, almost, and charge in half or a third of the time. These Samsung solid-state silver batteries use 1 kilogram of silver per car. Today's traditional electric vehicle batteries only use small amounts of silver, primarily in electrical contacts and electronics, often in the tens of grams per vehicle. So we're talking, even if just 20% of global EVs were equipped with such solid-state silver-based batteries, the total incremental silver demand could approach around 16,000 metric tons annually. That is massive. If this Samsung silver solid-state battery really starts going into electric vehicle production, this could be one reason why silver's going through the roof. Because of what these major investors are thinking about regarding the future. They're not looking to now. They're thinking 10, 20 years down the road. They got inside knowledge about these kinds of tech. So, Samsung silver solid state battery. Also, nuclear fusion. Silver plays a role in many components of nuclear fusion. Not just fission. Actually, let's get to the fission first. Silver's crucial role in nuclear power generation. Did you know the average nuclear reactor requires 56,000 ounces of silver, primarily I forget my periodic table here, but in a silver INCD alloy control rod to regulate fission. As the world leans into nuclear power generation, silver's role in nuclear power is critical yet often overlooked. Approximately 19 million ounces are going to be needed for new reactors by 2030. And I think that's a small estimate because with the U.S. government leaning very heavily into small modular reactors, and a bunch of companies coming out with their own SMRs, small modular reactors, or standard fission-based nuclear countries around the world. Like Japan is just starting up Fukushima again. Like, there's a huge push into nuclear. So not just fission, but now let's talk fusion. So with fusion, we're just at the cusp of, like I was reading today, one company called Helion Energy broke ground this year, a few months ago, in Washington State, building their own nuclear fusion reactor. And Microsoft is going to be getting energy from this fusion reactor within like 2 or 3 years. That's the time frame. So we're just at the cusp of nuclear fusion going active in commercial power grids around the world. And this is a list of all of the components of a nuclear fusion reactor, if you will. Uses high temperature superconducting tape that requires silver. Silver shields, a major and critical component of the fusion design. Superconducting magnets. Silver is used in the matrix material for them. Electrical systems, neutral beam power supply, optical diagnostic systems, high temperature brazing alloys, and thermal management systems. It's wild. Silver is used in a ton of nuke tech and then solar cells as well. Silver plays a vital role in the production of solar cells that produce electricity. How much silver is in a solar panel? About 20 grams of silver per square meter. 8 grams per square meter, with the average panel using about 20 grams. But that's for solar panels on the ground, on the earth, okay? I think within about 10 to 15 years, we're going to see these solar panels no longer on the ground. I think these are going to be in space. We'll still see some solar panels on homes, buildings, but these giant, ugly-ass, retarded square miles of solar farms, unnecessary. I do not think we will see these giant solar farms on the ground anymore. I think we're going to see giant solar arrays up in space. And then lasers and or radio frequency systems will be used to beam that electricity down to us on the planet here. That's how solar is mainly going to be used. Space-based solar power. So we're going to get back into that energy talk towards the end. Robots need silver. Yeah, maybe a lot of these autonomous systems will also use a bit of silver and gold because of the electrical conductivity. But at least the non-communist countries will start putting their solar systems in space, space-based solar. Because comment in the chat says Australia was about to make a solar farm 10 kilometers by 50 kilometers. What do you mean was? Did they cancel it? I hope so. Chat says, I just want to get rid of the frickin' wind farms. Yes, we do need to get rid of the wind farms because an ungodly amount of wildlife is killed by the wind farms. Plus the amount of trees you have to cut down and resources used to build those big ugly-ass propellers. But at least with wind farms, you can use the ground under them. Oftentimes, the ground under wind farms is used for grazing land for cows, which at least with wind farms, you can use the ground under them. With giant solar panel farms, that makes the ground under them useless. Nothing can grow there because the sun hits the panels, not plants underneath. So ground is dead from these massive solar farms. It's awful. Both of them shouldn't be used. Wind power, pointless. Do away with that. Solar power, great. But put those solar panels in space where they can get 24/7 photons, much more intense, direct, and then beam that power with radio waves like Nikola Tesla envisioned down to the surface. No silly atmosphere to block the sun's rays. Exactly. And then you can use radio waves, just like Nikola Tesla envisioned a century ago, to trickle charge all of our devices. We would never have to plug a phone in again, a computer. I would buy an electric vehicle only when space-based solar power is a thing. So I would never have to plug it in. You would effectively have unlimited range with an electric vehicle if it's just constantly trickle charging from the space-based solar power systems. Like, imagine the innovation, the potential of space-based solar power. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm still much more of a fan of zero-point energy. Right? That's like ultimate potential there. But it's gotta be baby steps to get there. And realistically, at least in my lifetime, I think I will see space-based solar power. I don't know about those zero-point energy devices, but I'd be happy with space-based solar, just radio beaming electricity to all of our devices and going truly wireless. That's not how Nikola Tesla thought of energy. From my understanding, Nikola Tesla wanted to use radio waves to wirelessly beam electricity from a point A to a point B. from my understanding. Yeah, we will get to Trump and Truth Social's merger with a nuclear fusion company in a bit. We're going to get back to that. There's still a lot more I want to get into with space-based solar, data centers in space, nuclear fusion. Dude, it's all hitting at once, too. It's insane. And I think it's really cool. It's really cool, man. But before that, I do want to touch on the Somali fraud and the fight between the Ellisons and Netflix over Warner Brothers. Although, 2 quick plugs. Mind you, don't mind me. Oneness drops if you need a chlorine dioxide kit. They got a few good things, few cool things. They've got DMSO, HCl for digestive support. They have mullein extract. Mullein's really good for your lungs. Soursop is really good for your DNA, strong antioxidant. Soursop extract. But mainly they've got chlorine dioxide kits. Chlorine dioxide kit with citric acid, chlorine dioxide with hydrochloric acid, glass plastic. Everything on Oneness drops is buy one, get one free. They got a BOGO free sale till the end of December. So just a few more days. Buy one, get one free. Your chlorine dioxide. Link and code are in the description below. You have to use the code BOGO Jordan. BOGO Jordan. And MMS, chlorine dioxide. Purify your water. Purify your insides if you wish. Really good stuff to have on hand for a variety of reasons. So go check it out. And then Contra Strength update for my own personal brand here, supplements. Vitamin C is my latest release. So go check out Contra Strength, link down below. I got a lot of cool stuff on here too, and a lot of big plans for 2026. Methylene blue, greens powder, Shilajit gummies, collagen. Where's the collagen? I got to put my collagen on the Shop All page. Anyway, I've got a collagen. Whole food vitamin C is the latest release though. So this vitamin C comes from amlaberry, acerola cherry, hibiscus, rosehip, stinging nettle, goldenrod, like literally food sourced. Comes from food. A lot of vitamin C on the market is just basic ascorbic acid, which is good. It'll help, but getting the vitamin C directly from food, way more absorbable, comes with the bioflavonoids, so much more antioxidant potential in the body. And then this vitamin C has 450 milligrams per serving, 60 servings per bottle. And 450 milligrams of a food-sourced vitamin C is way better than even 1,000 milligrams of an ascorbic acid vitamin C. So there is a difference. Not all vitamins are the same. A lot of multivitamins are cheap trash that are synthesized isolates, tough to absorb. So food-sourced vitamins are way more better. Go check out that vitamin C, link below. Yeah. Vitamin C, just eat an orange. Yep, you can. Supplementation can sometimes be cheaper and get you more than food, but sure. So how much vitamin C per orange? About 50 milligrams. So you'd have to eat about, 9 oranges to get the amount of vitamin C as one dropper of this one. I'm all for getting vitamins from food, but sometimes supplements have a time and a place. Let me just go through some of these. Waiting on the order, placed December 6th. So if electrolytes were in your order, the electrolytes are getting here on Monday. I have an email notice going out. I was expecting the electrolytes to come in like a week ago, but Pacific Northwest weather caused delay in shipment. So it's probably because electrolytes are in your order. Those are going out Monday. The electrolytes will be here Monday. They're going out Monday. So sorry about that. But email notice is going out. Liposomal vitamin C. I have mixed thoughts on liposomal vitamin C. I don't think liposomal, I think it's kind of a buzz marketing. I'm not going to say gimmick, but vitamin C is water soluble. So I never understood the whole liposomal pitch behind it. What's the best seller? Probably the methylene blue, to be honest. A lot of people are into that right now. I'm a big fan of the oregano oil. I use my oregano oil pretty much every day. And my electrolytes. That's probably why I'm out of them. A lot of people are loving the electrolytes. Great pre-workout. Anyway, let's get into Somali fraud. 40. We'll get into the supplement talk towards the end. I always like doing health talk during the Q&A portion. But anyway, Nick Shirley, man. This guy has gotten like 100,000 followers in the last hour. Jeez. I started following him like 2 hours ago, and he was only at like 220,000. Good for him. I really like this guy. He seems super solid and down to earth, not particularly biased any which way. He just goes to places, brings his camera, and films things. So shout out to him. Here's the full 42 minutes of my crew and I exposing Minnesota fraud. This might be my most important work yet. It probably is, dude. I think you're right. We uncovered over $110 million in one day. Yeah, this dude seems solid. 42-minute video.
Hello, we'd like to ask where the money's going. What do you guys think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
I don't think anybody is enabling fraud to happen.
Hold Governor Walz accountable for this.
What was this money spent on? 1.26 million. What was that money spent on?
That Somali lady sounded like a Jawa from Star Wars.
0.26 million. What was that money spent on? There aren't any kids.
Answer the question. Are there children? There's no children inside this building. Potentially.
They got all taken to Epstein's Island. Wild, dude. Here's a few clips from that. So I'm definitely going to watch this full video. All right, I logged it already. I'm going to watch this full video in the morning. Here's a few clips of it, though.
I knocked on the door, and to my surprise, somebody actually answered the door.
Hello? Can we speak?
So he's actually going to these daycare centers.
In the daycare.
And then he says, I want to put my kid in this daycare. Can you tell me more about your business? Try later.
Where can I get paperwork to file for my son? I wanted to put my son Joey in daycare.
And after a few questions, the lady went silent.
Looks like little Joey Shirley ain't going to daycare here. And now where are we going?
Now we're going to Sweet Angel Child Care.
We're in the middle of a strip mall here inside of this neighborhood.
In fiscal year 2025, this facility, which has its license for 74 kids, was paid $1.26 million in tax money.
License for 74 kids, did he say? And they were paid over $1 million in taxpayer money. No kids there. No kids.
And there are no kids, and all the facilities are the same way, all of them.
Let's see if anyone opens.
Yeah, let's see.
Once again, I try to find a spot for my son Joey, and they would not open the door.
Joey!
I want to put my son Joey in daycare. Cuz I need a spot to put my son Joey.
Yes.
Is this your daycare center?
No, I work there. What's happened?
I just want to put a child in daycare, but all the daycare centers seem to be closed. No one's opening the doors.
You work here?
I was, yeah. What's happened?
Where are the kids?
Yeah?
It says it's licensed for 74 children. Right here, state of Minnesota. Where are the kids? They
Huh?
got paid $1.26 million in fiscal year 2025. It says they have a capacity for 74 children.
When? No, when?
Where are the kids? Right here. State of Minnesota website. You work here and you don't know?
I don't know. I was there before. I don't know what's going on.
Were there any kids when
I
you
don't
worked
know
here?
what
Kids
happened.
there. Kids there. What's
How
happened?
many?
I don't know. I
You don't know.
Yeah.
You worked here. Okay, well then you're not of any help.
Can I put my son in a daycare here?
No, I don't know.
Can I speak to someone?
No, I don't know.
No. Yeah, I would like to see if I can put my son Joey here.
Who's your son, Joey?
My son Joey. Can I check out daycare center?
No! You're a liar. I'm the owner.
Do you
Wild, dude. This is I don't get enraged by much. And I wouldn't say I'm enraged, but I'm like appalled by this and genuinely upset because that is an insane amount of money. I mean, hundreds of millions of dollars going to all these different daycares and autistic businesses and shit. Like whatever the fuck the Somalis are doing in Minnesota and where else around the Great Lakes, right? But you know, this is just the Somalis in Minneapolis. What the hell are, I mean, mainly in the liberal states, but I'm sure a wee bit in some of these conservative states, but say Washington State and Oregon, California, New York, how are those governments being ripped off by not just foreigners and immigrants, but also U.S. citizens? Like the amount of fraud. That's why I always get so, again, I wouldn't say bothered or pissed, but just disappointed. I get disappointed when I hear the liberals say tax the rich. Raise taxes, whatever, tax the rich. I'm just like, you retard. We could have everything we currently have, if not more, with far less taxpayer dollars if you just got all those magic 3 words, fraud, waste, and abuse, out of the budgets. The money laundering out of it. All that shit, right? Like, literally, how many billions, hundreds of billions, if not $1 trillion plus, is just laundered to nothing, to private bank accounts, to overseas, to Cayman Island bank accounts, to NGOs, to corporations that are charging the government $100 for a basic-ass hammer or $300 for a saline bag that costs $3, right? It's wild. No, we don't need to tax the rich. We can tax everybody less and still have the exact same services we do. Couple more clips. Don't open up. He's ice. Someone yells at Nick Shirley.
Blatant this fraud is here at this daycare.
Don't open up!
So this is Quality Learning Center. I meant to say Quality Learning Center.
Oh my God. It doesn't even say learning. Leering. Quality Leering Center. You can't make this shit up. They misspelled learning.
Don't open up!
They said they spelt learning wrong.
Don't open up!
How do you have ice here, ma'am? I'm literally a YouTuber.
Don't open up!
Ma'am, what do you think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
Don't open up! We have ice!
And what do you think about
It's
this
like,
place
bitch, I'm a
being licensed
YouTuber.
for 99 children
Don't
I look like
open
ice?
up!
and getting $4 million
Don't
over
open
the
up! It's ice!
$4 million in the last 2 years?
Go away!
What do you think about that?
The ice is on the ground, you dumb shit.
Are you in
Go
favor?
away!
Are you in favor of that?
Go away!
You know where
You're
the-
not welcome here.
Are you-
Shame
No.
Are you in favor of $1.9 million going illegally, fraudulently to this business that has quality learning center but can't even spell learning right on the door?
Don't open up!
Ma'am, we are not ICE.
I don't care who you are, you don't belong here.
I belong here just like you belong here.
Don't open up! It's
Oh my God. Some people you just can't reach. What we got here is a failure to communicate. Oh, he got the cops called on him too.
A list of all of the healthcare companies. Loads of them right here. We want healthcare.
No, it's okay.
Yes, we'd like to speak about getting healthcare here.
No.
Why can't I get healthcare here?
No, wait.
Warning, you are under video surveillance. No trespassing, security armed. This is the strangest place I've ever been to get healthcare. Just a bunch of different places. Healthcare here, healthcare right here. Another healthcare company right here. There are 3 healthcare companies inside of this building right here in this room of 7C. Now we have another Helping Hands, Home Care LLC, another healthcare company. Present Help right here. We're looking for the best rates of healthcare here inside this building because we have so many options. Who can we talk about getting the best healthcare?
So many options.
No?
sorry.
All right. We will not get any healthcare here. David, this is one of the stranger places I've ever been. Literally, healthcare every door you go to, yet nobody will give you a rate. How much money do you think's been funneled through this building?
Every year, I would say 50 to 60 million at least.
And finally, we were accepted into one of the daycare centers,
50
and
to
they actually
60
took down
million.
information to give us a rate. However, when we left, we were then met with the police.
We received a complaint that gentleman matching your description were in this
Yo, they were following him a minute ago. I'd be looking behind your shoulder in that building, bro. I'd be checking your 6 there, man.
He said there's 14 companies here, and he's trying to assume because they're Somali providers, everyone here is fraudulent.
Okay.
So
He's here with some kind of like propaganda.
No, we're just checking.
No, this is a area that we're allowed to enforce trespassing ordinance. Is there any other reason that you guys are here?
Well, we were checking rates.
No,
Ooh, she's snitching.
We were checking rates. We asked for rates.
No, you're not.
Okay. I'm gonna have, if you guys are all good, we're gonna step outside and we can continue this conversation.
All right, let's leave. So, all right, we're getting escorted out right now. The police have arrived. We were checking out the rates, seeing what was happening inside this building. No one would really speak with us. We did go inside the one daycare center.
Well, so again, we've been getting reports from multiple individuals that you guys were.
This is Mr. Just Following Orders. Mr. Just Following Orders. Helping the fraud, helping to facilitate the fraud, but unfortunately, he's just following orders. All these cops just following orders. Wild, right? Just doing my job. Just doing what the boss told me. On one hand, they just gotta put food on the table and feed their kids. But on the other hand, they are helping to keep us all enslaved on this slave planet. So fuck them. It's sad. And yeah, another clip. Just wild. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey warns ICE agents could be killed if operations continue in the city. ICE agents are going to be killed. We must protect ICE and keep them out because they'll be killed if they continue.
I am increasingly concerned because of the chaos that is being caused by these ICE agents that somebody is gonna get seriously injured or killed. Somebody is gonna get seriously injured or killed.
Injured.
And whether that is an ICE agent or a community member, we all know that.
Oh, gaslight me harder. Gaslight the shit out of me. Yeah, maybe, get all the fraudulent Somalis out of there. I saw this picture of Mogadishu, and it's kind of wild how much growth Mogadishu has had over the past 10 years. I wonder where they got the billions of dollars for new big buildings in the capital of Somalia. Kind of wild. About half or possibly more of the roughly $18 billion in Medicaid claims paid to Minnesota-run programs may have been fraudulent, with at least 14 programs likely exploited, according to CBS. A leading report made that post this morning. One thing to note here, you got to be careful of some of these breaking news X accounts, because sometimes it's not breaking news, it's a little old, engagement bait, all of that. This is actually a week-old article, but still relevant. What to know about Minnesota's industrial-scale fraud scandal. CBS News from December 19th, 1 week ago. Latest indictments add fuel to a scandal that has now led to charges against more than 90 people, bilking hundreds of millions of dollars from the Midwestern state. Probably more than that, honestly. Thursday's charges focus on housing assistance and autism services. But it's probably more than a few hundred million. It might be in the billion. I mean, if that one building that Nick Shirley was walking through with the 20 different healthcare LLCs, if that one building was $50 million a year, dude, it might be in the billions. With all the housing assistance, autism centers, daycares, healthcare companies, all of them together. Yeah. Medicare and Medicaid fraud too. Walls is fucked. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob, him too. Also, CBS is actually reporting somewhat fairly on this. And speaking of CBS, Paramount bought their parent company, that is the Ellisons, pro-Trump, Trump-friendly at least. So it appears some changes are happening at CBS News. We'll get to that in a moment. Also, California getting thrown under the fraud bus.
California Congressman Kevin Kiley, he is sounding the alarm in his home state, saying under Governor Gavin Newsom's leadership, it has become the, quote, fraud capital of America.
And we have team coverage. Our national correspondent Alana Austin is on Capitol Hill with more on the investigations into Tim Walz. But we start with correspondent Heather Myers, who has more on what is going on in California. A rainy day out there on the West Coast. Heather, what can you tell us?
Well, good afternoon to you, Katrina and Andrew. This latest report was issued by the state auditor, and that's a nonpartisan position. That state auditor now puts 8 state agencies on the high-risk list of agencies to watch out for things like fraud and mismanagement as well as waste. Here's a look at that 92-page report. Newly added to the high-risk list is California's food stamp program. If the state doesn't get the improper payments under control, it could cost an extra $2.5 billion. Also on there is the Department of Finance, which was tasked with giving out COVID relief funds. Critics say $32 billion of that was taken by fraudsters. Then there
$32 billion of COVID money taken by fraudsters in California. And that was just COVID money. Chat says 18 billion missing in Cali. Damn, son. Damn.
Why are you gay? I don't like girls.
I don't like girls. I don't like girls.
Why are you gay?
Faggot, faggot, faggot.
Nobody cares that you're gay. Just stop being such a faggot about it. How to ruin a series in 3 minutes, right? And then the corniest shit you've ever seen in your life. All the other main characters made a big old deal about it.
And you'll never lose me.
You'll never lose me. And they all hug him.
Or me. Or me. Or me.
Or me. Or me.
Oh, and she's lesbian too, right? I think she's another gay main character. Oh my god. Cringe level max. Oh, dude. And like, wasn't like this character super cool in the first couple seasons? Like, walked around with a baseball bat with nails out of it and would do cool shit, and now they're all just homo hugging. It's wild, man. Netflix. Turn everything black, turn everything gay. Sell it. And yeah, sale of Warner Brothers Discovery heats up as the Ellisons weigh litigation over selection of the Netflix bid. So, Warner Brothers Discovery on the sale block right now. You've got David Ellison owning Paramount Skydance. That is team number 1. Team number 2 is Netflix. And the Ellisons are looking at an all-cash, basically hostile takeover of Warner Brothers Discovery. And then Netflix over here is the other party. And they're each basically upping the ante on each other. The offer is now around like $80 billion. So, just a huge fight over who owns Warner Brothers. And whoever owns Warner Brothers owns CNN. So if the Ellisons, Larry and David Ellison, end up buying Warner Brothers, not only would they own CBS, but they would also own CNN. So big potential here. We'll see. Don't know if I fully trust that guy. But we'll see what happens. And lastly, we'll get a little bit more into the energy technology sector. November U.S. data center power demand capacity rose by a record 1.6 gigawatts. There's nowhere near enough of the required power supply to feed all the racks, which is leading to unprecedented electric bill increases. Well, if we're talking about oil, gas, coal, hydroelectric, wind power, but I think that is why we are seeing massive pushes into nuclear. Executive order 6 months ago signed by Trump deploying advanced nuclear reactor technologies for national security. just a month ago, the Army announced next steps on the Janus program. The Janus program was their small modular reactor. Here are 9 sites that they're going to be looking at for initial deployment of their small modular reactors. So the Army is going to start powering their bases with tiny little nuclear reactors. It's basically taking what's like a small modular nuclear reactor is what powers an aircraft carrier and submarines. It's basically just taking that, plopping it on land, and hooking it up to a base. So Fort Benning, Fort Bragg, Fort Hood, JBLM, Redstone Arsenal, and Bama. While the final number and location for these microreactors on Army installations will be determined, the Army is committed to maximizing the number of sites. Army is going to start rolling out small modular reactors, and not just for the military, but private sector is already developing them. So in Washington State, in eastern Washington, a company called Helion Energy is already building a fusion reactor, and they are looking to have it power Microsoft data centers by 2028. So this is out near Wenatchee, Washington. And it's right next to a big dam, so that way they'll just be able to plug this fusion power plant right into large transmission wires that are right next to the dam, so they could start putting electricity into the grid. And we've got some news on space. So last week, this executive order was just signed by Trump, ensuring American space superiority. Here are some highlights from this executive order. Build a moon base, deploy nuclear reactors to the moon, build out an industrial base in space. We're going to talk about that one. Clean up space debris, make space travel cheap, return Americans to the moon immediately. By 2030, within 4 years, well, Trump wants to return Americans to the moon within 2 years. Establish initial elements of a permanent lunar outpost within 4 years. And have a lunar surface reactor ready for launch by 2030. This is insane time frame here. Also, combine that space executive order with Jared Isaacman being confirmed as NASA administrator. What is this going to lead to? Space commercialization, mining the moon. I think that's one of the biggest goals here with trying to get to the moon so fast, is that we need energy. These nuclear fusion reactors are coming online. Other countries and other competitors are looking to have their own fusion reactors coming online. What is one very important element used as a fuel source for nuclear fusion? That is called helium-3. Helium-3 is very important for nuclear fusion technologies to help cool them and run them. Helium-3 doesn't exist in high amounts on the Earth's surface because it deteriorates in the atmosphere. There's not much helium-3 on the Earth, but on the moon, there's a shitload of helium-3. China is already on the moon, probably mining helium-3 for their own nuclear fusion reactors, which is why Trump is accelerating the timeline to get to the moon, mine the moon so fast, to get that helium-3 to power the fusion reactors. The fusion reactors that are being built and also the fusion reactors that are going to be built. Wow, look at that. Trump Technology and Media Group is merging with a nuclear fusion technology. What do you fucking think? It's all lining up. Oh my God, it's lining up. It's lining up perfectly. Executive order to get to the moon. What do we need on the moon? Helium-3 for nuclear fusion. Wow, look at that. Trump's technology company is merging with a nuclear fusion technology. Oh, wow. Good Lord. Holy crap. Also, tech companies want to put data centers in space. Data centers could soon be orbiting in space, which is a much better idea than having them on the ground because data centers need to be cooled. They could be really cold in space. Perfect for them. Also, attach a bunch of big solar panels on those things, and they would get all kinds of energy. What an amazing idea. Also, one of the companies looking at putting data centers in space is called Etherflux. Etherflux is not just looking at putting data centers in space. They are also looking at putting satellites in space for space-based solar power. One of the many companies. There's a lot of companies and countries not just looking at nuclear fusion, but also looking at putting solar arrays in space to harness energy and then beaming that energy back down to the planet, either with lasers or radio waves. So Etherflux is looking at putting data centers in space and space-based solar power systems. And then, of course, the space-based solar wouldn't just power their space-based data centers, but also be able to beam that energy back down to Earth. And wow, look at that. An AI tool can simulate complex fusion plasma in seconds. Usually, these very complex simulations for the plasma dynamics in fusion reactors, they're very difficult to compute. But when you get powerful AI computing the plasma reactions in these fusion reactors, it makes them work a lot more efficiently. So wow, these data centers could be very important to get fusion online. Wow, it's all coming together. AI, data centers, space-based solar power, fusion, commercializing space. Amazing. Amazing how a plan comes together. Chat says a lot of talk about nuclear fusion lately. Are they all connected? Yeah. I think I just connected a lot of that for you. Tunes time. All right, you guys want to keep talking nuclear fusion? If you got any of those supplement questions, ask them. Let me know. Starlink is a distributed data center. Do you use Starlink? I was using Starlink about 2 years ago. 2.5 years ago. It was okay. I was using one of those first generation dishes though. And I didn't have a full clear sky. There was a couple like tree tips in the way. I probably had like a 90% clear area. But I think I was using one of those Gen 1 dishes, and that's why it made it kind of slow. It was doable. I could sort of do these kinds of live streams on it, but it would be a bit laggy. Uploading, though, if I was uploading, say, like an hour-long interview to Rumble, shit, that would take an hour. A couple hours, maybe. So maybe if I had one of the newer generation dishes, it would have worked better. But also, maybe they have some more satellites in space, making it work faster these days. So, if any of you guys use Starlink, let me know. I'm curious how it's working these days. CBD oil, where to get that is full spectrum. I have some bottles on hand if you want them. So shoot me an email or a DM somewhere. DM me on either Instagram or Twitter, X. Or send me an email through either one of my websites. I have some full spectrum CBD oil. I can get you. Otherwise, I can give you a suggestion, but I got a bunch on hand. I think Elon recently was talking about coming out with a specifically designed phone that gets data from Starlink. So essentially you would have service literally anywhere. You wouldn't have to connect to a ground-based cell tower to get data to your phone, but you could connect it to satellite. That'd be rad. That'd be pretty freaking rad. So effectively, I mean, your coverage would be, I wouldn't say unlimited all over. I mean, maybe you could be in a really deep canyon and have some limitations with it, but I mean, out in Timbuktu, you'd still have service where AT&T or Verizon wouldn't. So, chat says I'd buy that phone in a heartbeat. Yeah, and I imagine it would be probably more secure. You know? Those hackers that go around with their, like, scanning devices, picking up Wi-Fi signals and stuff, I imagine it'd be way more secure. But indoors, would it work? I mean, I suppose it would depend, right? I'm sure they would figure out a way to get those frequencies through a couple walls. Basically, everybody would have a sat phone. If it's a de-Googled phone, then I'll buy. Yeah, right. The murdered MIT scientist was working on fusion that didn't need helium-3. That's cool. I don't think all nuclear fusion requires helium-3, but many of them do. But not all. Yeah, which... I was scrubbing through a bunch of nuclear fusion technologies today, and I came across one. Came across a couple that didn't need it. Anyway. Yeah, they got portable Starlinks. I know that, I don't know the prices these days. I'm just going off the prices 2 years ago, but getting Starlink to your home cost $100 a month. and they had mobile setups. So if you wanted a Starlink dish like on a boat out in the middle of the ocean, or on a van, if you were living out of your van, you could get a mobile Starlink dish. And I think those services were like $500 a month, something like that. When am I streaming with Cliff? Hi, Uncle Cliff, man. Haven't talked to him in a bit, but so I don't have an answer to that. There's nothing planned. I'd have to get into contact with him and figure out a time, but also, I was looking into cold fusion today, and speaking of murdered scientists looking at nuclear technologies, you know, Eugene Malov was killed in 2004. He was killed like 20 years ago, and he was a huge proponent of cold fusion. And 25 years ago, all the mainstream science journals out there called cold fusion a crazy conspiracy theory. There's no way this can work. It's breaking the laws of physics. That's my favorite fucking one. Breaking laws of physics. As if they are laws. As if what humans think are immutable. Insane to me they call them laws of physics. Should not be called laws. Theories of physics, sure. But laws? No. Eugene Malov was probably killed for his work on cold fusion. Cold fusion over the years got rebranded. They call it LENR now, LENR, low energy nuclear reactions. And cold fusion is essentially creating fusion energy, but at room temperatures. So it's not superheated or super radioactive like fission or fusion. It's like room temperature nuclear reactions. And back in like 1989, 2 Utah scientists figured it out, and then they were super demonized by the scientific establishment and called crazy. And Eugene Malov, throughout the 90s, was a big proponent of it, and then he was killed in 2004. But over the past probably 5 or 10 years, they've rebranded it. The mainstream science community sort of rebranded cold fusion. They call it LENR now. And they're actually starting to like reinvestigate it. And check this out. Even the Department of Frickin' Energy a couple years ago is investing into the study of low energy nuclear reactions. The Department of Energy announced $10 million in funding for 8 projects working to determine whether low-energy nuclear reactions could be the basis for a potentially transformative carbon-free energy source. "30 years ago, scientific community shit all over LENR, aka cold fusion. Now they're studying it again. Look at that. Ooh, MIT studying cold fusion. Lawrence Berkeley. Look at that. I wonder what laboratory at MIT was studying low energy nuclear reactions, right? I don't know if our bro Nuno, our murdered plasma physicist, I would imagine he was probably studying in a different laboratory. Maybe. Maybe our plasma scientist murdered MIT plasma scientist stumbled upon some LENR. funny. Conspiracy theorists vindicated again. What's up, guys? Appreciate the Rumble rants. Cliff is big on the illusion of reality, supreme consciousness lately. He trusts in the idea that there's no ability to time travel thoughts. I would actually be more in line with Cliff's idea there than related tangent here. I was listening to a recent Joe Rogan podcast, and Joe Rogan sounds like he entertains the idea, or he's in line with the idea that extraterrestrials are just humans time traveling from the future. I hear that narrative promoted quite a bit. Aliens are just humans time traveling from the future. I don't resonate with that idea. I don't think time travel is that simple. I think it's much more complicated. I do think it's possible, but it is causing a lot of disturbances in the Force, you could say. And not something you really want to fuck around with. A species should be fucking around with, I should say. So, I don't know if I would personally say there's no ability to do it. But I would say that in terms of a wise thing to do, I don't think it's a wise thing to do. Even for an evolved, advanced species. Toying around with things that shouldn't be messing around with. Is history on a loop? No. The future is just potential. You know, it could go in an infinite amount of ways depending on the choices that we individually and collectively make, so the future is not determined. That's why I never understood the idea of like God's will or God has a plan. I don't think there's any predetermined plan even by God or source figure, because then that would mean free will doesn't exist. But we do have free will. So thus, the future is not predetermined. God gives us this free will and says, you know, figure it out. We'll see what you do. We'll see what choices you make. So, no, I don't think there's a particular will or plan ahead of us that where we go in the future, again, individually and collectively, is determined by the choices we make in any given moment. Is history on a loop? No. Why would it be on a loop? How would it be on a loop? Also, this idea of like multiple timelines existing at once, I don't like that idea. That doesn't make sense to me. Multiple quote-unquote realities? No, there's only one. This moment of now. It's that from this moment of now going forward, there's potential timelines we go down, and the one we end up going down is the one that our choices, our free will, takes us down. X22 did a show this morning with Devin Nunes. I saw that. I got like an itch in my nose. I saw X22 did a show with Devin Nunes. I need to listen to that too. I'm going to have a lot of stuff to listen to in the morning. Thank God for double speed. About the fusion plan they have and what it would be powered with, but I can't remember the name. Well, did I get into that? TAE? I mean, I touched on it, but TAE Technologies is the company that Trump Media and Technology Group partnered with. And there's a little bit of information out there about, first of all, there is a TAE Life Sciences division of their company, and they have a boron neutron capture therapy for cancer treatment. Like a nuclear med tech, new boron med tech. They have like a targeted nuclear cancer therapy. That's kind of wild. I'll look into that one. But TAE's machines spin plasma up into a looped structure called a field reversed configuration, FRC, which is a loop of hot dense plasma. Unlike other magnetic confinement fusion devices such as the tokamak, FRCs provide a magnetic field topology An essential component of the design is the use of advanced fuels. I don't know if any of that was what Devin Nunes talked about this morning, but... Okay, one more. History had been written biblically, but your free will determines your soul's fate. What do you mean history has been written biblically? I don't understand that statement. But your free will determines your soul's fate. I think free will determines fate in general. For our body and mind and soul. Yeah. Maybe... are you asking or are you making a statement? Fate is defined as the development of events beyond a person's control. So... does not free will inherently mean that certain things are in our control? Only one Bible is the truth of what happened is happening. Yeah, depends on how you read it though, how you interpret it. So again, like Book of Revelations that you just bring up, how are you interpreting that? Many people interpret the Bible literally. It's their ideas. Some people interpret it allegorically or symbolically. That's their ideas. Who's the right one? I would say well, let me say this. I think a lot of people who interpret the Bible literally, those literal parts, they should be interpreting allegorically. And the parts that a lot of people interpret allegorically, maybe they should be looking at a little more literally. That's how I often find my study of Bible or study of people who study the Bible, is that, or some parts maybe a little bit of both. It's both literal and allegorical, but anyway. Boron. Devin Nunes said, that nuclear fusion technology by TAE Systems that is partnering now with Trump Media and Technology Group, powered by boron, eh? That's funny. I've been eating a bunch of dates lately. I got this bag of dates at the store like a week back, and I've been eating them for the boron. Because boron good for men. Good for hormones. Dates, high boron. Got a nuclear fusion reactor in my balls from that boron. That's cool though. Cars will probably go hydrogen hybrid with electric, as in turbine engines feeding electric motors with battery backup. I just want that water-powered car, man. Stanley Meyer, water-powered car. If we're gonna still be dealing with cars. Ideally, give me one of them levitating discs, bro. All right, guys, any last questions, comments, concerns, complaints? Drop them in the chat. I will see you guys on Monday. I'm just reading some of these comments on boron. Boron hydride. Deuterium reacts just like regular hydrogen. They produce boron deuteride because boron stabilizes neutrons. Fun stuff. Goes over my head. Is silver going to collapse the banking system? I think our banking system... I'm just theorizing here. Could be wrong. I'm likely wrong, but no, I think silver is going to help save the banking system. Make it much more fair. I think eventually we will see a central bank, the Federal Reserve, either greatly reworked and redesigned or removed from more of like a national banking system. You know, you hear Trump a lot invoke Andrew Jackson when he talks about the economics of banking. And that's what Andrew Jackson essentially did, is that he took us from a central banking system to more of a national banking system. And that's where I think we might go in that tariffs will end up, tariffs and ending all the fraud, waste, and abuse of federal budgets will end up getting us to a point where Trump will remove the federal income tax and the need for an IRS and get us onto an external revenue service. And then that will eventually pave the way for the Federal Reserve to be overhauled. Maybe become a national reserve. Our fiat system may end up being backed, and I think it'll be backed by a hybrid of precious metals and Bitcoin. I think it'll be a bit of both. You'll have a tangible asset and a digital asset, both backing paper dollars. Federal Reserve notes that might become National Reserve notes. So you have to consider the manipulation and derivatives on silver shorting. It's going to fuck them in the ass, and they will have to create constitutional dollar after the system implodes. Yeah, it's basically what I was just saying, right? Constitutional dollar or an American dollar, national dollar, what have you. I think there would be a redesign, an overhauling for sure. I mean, there's manipulation in every freaking market, cryptocurrency too. But yeah, I think we'll see a major redesign in how our monetary system operates. And we'll have some kind of asset-backed paper dollar, which I think will be both physical and digital asset-backed. Can I give you instructions on how to retrieve your Divi wallet? I don't know what a Divi wallet is. Cool. All right, guys. Any last questions, comments, concerns, complaints, drop them in the chat. If you have any other questions or request anything else from me, you can send me a DM. Instagram and Twitter are the best places to send me a DM. Otherwise, shoot me an email through one of my websites. Elon says we will not use money in 10 years. I think we will always need some kind of value exchange mechanism. Now, that value exchange mechanism could be barter and trade, things we just make and create and grow, or it could be digital, like a Dogecoin. I know Elon is still stacking up Dogecoin, he said. It could be a Bitcoin, some kind of digital currency. It could be a physical representation currency, which is like a dollar, physical dollar, or a coin. You'll always need some kind of value exchange mechanism. The important thing is, what is that value exchange mechanism representative of? Right? Truly, at the end of the day, a hunk of gold, to me, I can't do shit with a hunk of gold. I can't eat it. I can't fish with it. It's basically like a shiny, expensive doorstop or a paperweight. I mean, this gets into the whole philosophy of like value and yada yada. But yeah, we're always going to need some kind of value exchange mechanism. But if a lot of things start becoming autonomous, robots out picking the apples and tending the gardens and driverless cars taking us around wherever we need to go, there will be a lot of things that become a lot cheaper. Sure. I think in 10 years, we'll still be using some form of quote-unquote money. But it might not be a Federal Reserve note. That could be the point he was making. It might not be a Federal Reserve note, but I don't think all value exchange mechanisms, all money should go digital. Because there's times and places where digital you don't want to use digital asset, right? If I'm hopping out of a taxi real quick and I want to tip a guy, I don't want to have to whip my phone out and press in buttons and, hey, what's your wallet address? Let's tap our phones together. No, I just want to flip him a freaking piece of paper and say, thanks, bro. Get out of the car. There's times and places for digital value exchange. If I need to send some money, some value to somebody on the other side of the planet, I don't want to have to mail them pieces of paper or metal coins. digital is the way to go for that. Peer-to-peer. Then governments don't have to get involved, and right? Just goes my wallet to his wallet. Although there's times and places where physical is way better. Plus, with digital assets, you kind of need internet and electricity for that. Pros and cons between gold and silver and paper dollars. Gold and silver heavy. Paper dollars backed by what? Pros and cons to Bitcoin. I mean, every value exchange mechanism is just a tool. It's just a tool. Pros and cons to all tools. You have to know what situation is best for what tool. I've used weed as money before. I've traded marijuana for ammo. Ammo makes great money sometimes. Coffee makes good money. Cigarettes, right? Anything can be money. You could fish with gold, make a fly out of a little gold. Yeah. Car parts, yeah. Good luck to your catalytic converters in Chicago with the way copper's price is going up. All right, guys. Good chat, good talk. I'll see y'all on Monday. Appreciate you being here.